Are you wanting to start the Mediterranean diet but wonder what foods you can eat? Well, then you've come to the right place. By the end of this video, you will know which foods to cook, eat, and enjoy to make the Mediterranean diet a huge success. Make sure to stick around till the end where I'm going to reveal for you the foods you definitely want to avoid. Hey there, I'm Dr. Anna. I'm a medical doctor. I was trained in Italy, and on this channel, you're gonna learn how to master the Mediterranean diet. All right, so if you've landed here, your doctor or maybe a dietitian told you that you should probably follow the Mediterranean diet. But I'm sure you're wondering which foods you need to be eating. So there's a couple of nice Mediterranean diet food pyramids that have been created. One of the most popular ones is this one called the Old Ways Pyramid. But I have a video where I talk about a really cool research article that compares 3 different Mediterranean diet pyramids. So you want to check out that video. I have a link for you. But as you can see in this food pyramid, the bulk of the diet are fresh foods, such as vegetables and fruits, whole grains, nuts and seeds, and legumes. Legumes being beans or lentils. And of course, olive oil. Then we have seafood as part of the diet. It is eaten what's considered in a moderate amount. That means a few times a week, but not every single day. And then even less, the diet includes poultry, more so than red meat, and even moderate amounts of alcohol, almost always as wine or even beer, but eaten with meals. And then there's less dairy and sweets that are consumed in this diet. And if you're liking this video and you're getting value out of it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. All right, so as you can see from this food pyramid, the bulk of the diet are plants. That is why the Mediterranean diet is among the diets that are called plant-based diets. A plant-based diet is not an official definition, just a term that describes that the bulk of the diet, the base of it, the base of the pyramid, is of plants. And we know that plant-based diets are linked to so many health benefits, like an improvement in your risk for cardiovascular disease, or dementia, or Alzheimer's disease, cancer, inflammatory diseases, and on and on. And I have a video over here where I talk about the top 7 health benefits of the Mediterranean diet if you want to learn a little bit more about that. And now that you have a good mastery of the foods that you can eat in the diet, which ones should you avoid? And trick question, there is nothing technically off limits about the Mediterranean diet. That is what makes the Mediterranean diet so fantastic. One of the core principles of the Mediterranean lifestyle and diet is that it is rooted in balance and rooted in sustainability. Now, when you are not too restrictive in your diet, it allows you to have a little bit more mental relaxation about what you need to eat. One of the biggest challenges that face people who are trying to lose weight and go on diets is that it doesn't last that long. They end up quitting after some time. Often with diets like the paleo, the keto, and now the carnivore diet that is gaining a lot of popularity, they're super restrictive. It doesn't mean that there's not some value in these diets, but when they're really restrictive and they cut out entire food groups, you're going to get overwhelmed and your body's going to start having cravings. One of my favorite things about the Mediterranean diet is that since nothing is technically off limits, if you're having a craving, you can go ahead and eat that thing. Is it your birthday? I encourage you to have any kind of a cake or dessert or celebratory food that makes you really happy. It's really important to not be too restrictive with ourselves. And by the way, if you're curious to know which desserts are the best ones to have in the Mediterranean diet, then I suggest you check out this video over here where I talk about some of the top desserts that you should be eating when following the Mediterranean diet. And as I mentioned, the Mediterranean diet is all about balance and the proportions of food. And this ties into one of the earlier things that I mentioned. Being a plant-based diet, if the bulk component of your diet is made up of healthy, fresh foods that are mostly plants, well, then having a little bit of this or a little bit of that every now and then isn't going to really cause any damage in your health overall. In almost every culture of the world, food is part of a celebratory experience, whether it's for a holiday or life milestones, births, weddings, deaths, you name it. So when you have the approach that most of the time you're eating healthy food, most of the time you're following a plant-based diet, well, then there's really no issue with having something that's going to change that up every now and then. Having a balanced approach is going to make being healthy much more automatic for you. You don't have to stress out about eating something. You don't have to make yourself feel bad and guilty. Now, that's not to say that some people don't struggle with those things, and I absolutely suggest you talk to a healthcare provider or a nutrition professional if you want more one-on-one guidance. Being a healthcare professional myself, I recognize that some people really do struggle with some behavioral things that regard food and their relationship to food, and I'm not disregarding that at all. I encourage any of you who want a little bit more support to go seek that support. But for a lot of you out there who don't feel like you have any difficulty with your relationship with food overall, a way of thinking about this is that the majority of the time, healthy foods are going to allow you to have the majority of the time a healthy outcome. If it's hard for you to know if something is healthy or not off the bat, something that's fresh is probably going to be something that's healthier. Things that have a long shelf life, they're in packages, tons of preservatives, added chemicals, you name it, and they could stay on the shelf for a year, I would not argue that that's a necessarily healthy thing to eat. So stick with fresh foods, you can't go wrong. Now, I gotta ask you, are there any foods that you actually do totally avoid? Comment and share below with us. I'm sure we would love to hear what some other people think. If you like this video and you got value out of it, go ahead and like it. Hit that thumbs up button and consider sharing this with at least 3 friends or family members. So at this point, you might be feeling like you have a pretty solid grasp on which foods you want to include in the Mediterranean diet. Then you are ready to throw those together into the perfect Mediterranean diet grocery list. You don't want to miss all of this amazing knowledge. See you over there.